Here we go. Wednesday, November 17th, 2021. Ermanni and Edwards, the bottom line. Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards. Braylon, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Good afternoon, my friend. I am excited. We talked about this yesterday. We talked about the energy was a little down yesterday towards the second hour of our show. And we addressed that. And what did we talk about? We said we wanted to come out on fire. We wanted to bring the energy, and I feel it. Feeling good. And so switching gears real quick, Maz, this is something for you. I was on my way over here. Are you a fan of reboots, remakes, like in terms of movie, reboots and remakes?
Not really.
I am getting tired of reboots and remakes. They're doing the Ghostbusters movie.
Oh, yeah. It's like the eighth one.
So they did the one a couple years ago, maybe 2016, and they got awful reviews.
The ladies one.
Awful reviews. Leslie, I can't think of her last. Leslie Jones from Saturday Night Live, Melissa McCarthy, a couple others. Movie was terrible. The ladies caught way too much flack for it, but the movie was awful. So now they got to redo the redo because it was terrible. Now they have Paul Rudd, the sexiest man alive,
I like Paul.
in the movie. I love him as well. He never seems to age.
Ant-Man.
But leave classics alone.
At least this time around, this iteration of the Ghostbusters has to do with the original story a little bit. I believe Paul Rudd or somebody is related to Venkman.
His son.
Or his grandson or something like that. And there's going to be
it's like the kid from Stranger Things.
Right. Bill Murray is in this one. So, Janine.
There you go.
Janine.
There you go.
Annie Potts is in this one.
I think when they do a remake, Mass, this is for you. I know you will like that. I think they should get the actual fan base involved, and it needs to be a toll, or it needs to be a poll. A poll. And if the fans don't want it, if they don't vote overwhelmingly that we want to see this, leave some classics.
Hey, we were just talking about the new Rocky IV movie.
Yeah, so essentially I've been all over this film, and one of the things is I couldn't find it.
Me neither.
You know, on November 11th, it was in select theaters.
They said
and I believe
Apple TV Plus. I looked everywhere. I couldn't find it.
It was in 3 different theaters here locally in Detroit. And then they said next day on streaming services. I went through every single streaming service and could not find it. It is now on Amazon Prime. You can rent it for $3.99. It's called Rocky vs. Drago.
What if you have Prime?
The direct cut. I have Prime too, but I still have to got to pay for it, which is fine. I'll pay that.
It's $3.99 for
pay
my
the freight
favorite
on
movie
that.
of all
Absolutely.
time. Rocky IV is my favorite movie of all time. I watch that movie before every game.
There's no easy way out.
Oh man, we're not indestructible.
Yes.
Maybe then again, that's true.
Yeah. Who's better than you?
Nobody.
But
we should watch it together.
So here's the deal. You know, because he did something similar, a director's cut to Rocky 1, where he talked over the new footage. But that's not what this is. This is literally a brand new film, essentially. He went back. Rocky 4 was, Braylon, you said an hour and 38 minutes?
An hour and 38.
So this Rocky 4, it's called Rocky versus Drago, is still an hour and a half long, give or take a couple of minutes. But he took 40 minutes of that film out and put in 40 minutes of unseen footage.
Oh, wow.
And completely recut the film into essentially a new film.
As long as he didn't take out Hearts on Fire.
Oh, I can't do that.
Don't believe he did that. No. But I was listening to an interview that Sylvester Stallone did about this, and he said, so Rocky IV basically in 1985 came out in the MTV generation where everything was quick montage, everything. And he said the whole movie, Rocky IV, is unlike the first 3 Rockies because the first 3 Rockies were able to breathe and storylines were told. This one is just quick montage, quick montage, quick montage, quick montage. The whole movie is a montage,
it's kind of like this day right now that we're in.
Yes.
People like quick stuff like that.
So
who knows?
This, he allows it to breathe a little bit more. You humanize Drago a lot more. Apollo puts up a little bit better fight than he did in this one. So I'm curious to see it. And I don't know if I can commit to watching it tonight, but I'll get to it this weekend for sure.
I'm on it.
Very excited about it.
That makes a lot of sense because when you look back at Rocky IV, you know, it starts off with he and Apollo having the fight. That was the gift that he promised Apollo. Then it goes into singing, you know what I'm saying, Apollo's birthday. Then it goes into the Russian. When he comes over there, then it's more, noise. It's more montage.
I think he took the robot out too, by the way.
Good.
That was horrible.
Then James Brown comes on. He sings, Super Highway. He sings that, and then it's, you come back, Apollo dies, and then it's No Easy Way Out. It's another long song. Then he gets over to Russia. It's his first workout. Another song. Then Adrian gets there. Hearts on Fire. Then when they're fighting, another song. It's nothing but songs.
Last thing I'll say about this, and then we'll get to the business of the day, but he was asked why he didn't do this to any of the other films, if he considered doing it to Rocky 1 or Rocky 2 or Rocky 3, because they shoot so much gets left out. Said this was the first film that he went back to the archives and there was actually usable film to do this to. Rocky 1, the film was not preserved well. They didn't even know where that was. Rocky 2, same, and Rocky 3, the same way. And then he didn't even mention Rocky 5 as if it didn't happen.
Because it shouldn't have happened.
Could have been so much better.
It could have been. There's no doubt about that. Hey, guys, big show for you today. Tom Van Haaren, ESPN college football reporter, going to join us in just a couple of minutes. We'll talk about the college football playoff rankings that came out last night, week 3 for the college football playoff rankings. In the 3 o'clock hour, hour number 2, top of hour number 2, we'll talk to Mike Utley. 30 years ago today, Mike Utley was paralyzed in a football game against the Los Angeles Rams, and so it began. The thumbs up from Mike Utley is one of the most iconic sports images that we have had in professional sports, certainly here in Detroit, when he was wheeled off the field on a stretcher and motioned the thumbs up. That is something that I'll never forget as a child, and I know so many people that were in this area around then will never forget that. We'll get an update from Mike Utley, who lives in Utah now, so just want to kind of circle back with him, see how he's doing now, and talk about what's happening over the last 30 years.
Yeah, I'm excited. I used to go to all those games, and we've talked about that, going to Silver Dome, being in there and being in those, that surrounding and what it meant. That's when the Lions were good. That was the heyday. That's when they were going to the playoffs. That's when they were winning games, actually going to the NFC Championship. And then that happened, man. I think that shocked, that shocked the whole Detroit Lions franchise, fan base. Like, I remember it being deafening how quiet it was in there. Everybody was quiet and you didn't know what was going on. And Mike gave us the thumbs up, man. That was a huge moment, man. It was something that you were able to take home that night after the game. Like, he gave us a thumbs up. Mike's going to be okay. And to see what he's done since then, can't wait to talk to him and catch up with him.
Without question. So we'll talk about that. We'll also get into Michigan State, obviously, with the rankings that came out last night. Let me throw them up real quick. Not much of a surprise here as we take a look at them. Top 6 stayed the same. Top 7 stayed the same, actually. Georgia, Alabama, Oregon, Ohio State, top 4. Cincinnati at 5. Michigan at 6. Michigan State at 7. Notre Dame jumped up to number 8. That's because Oklahoma lost. Look out for Oklahoma State, who is now at number 9. Wake Forest rounds out the top 10. Any surprises there for you, Braylon? I feel like it's a little bit of a ho-hum college football playoff ranking.
No, it's pretty much like we thought it would be. Nothing has changed. Oregon wasn't jumped by Ohio State. Michigan wasn't jumped by Michigan State. It stayed pretty much as we thought it would be. A team to watch out for is Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's a better team, I think, than Oklahoma. I think the quarterback play for them has been much better this year than it has been in the past. Defense has been playing really good so far in the last 4 or 5 games or so. Watch out for them. They're creeping, they're quiet. They may have to play Baylor in the Big 12 championship game if they are able to beat Oklahoma at the end of the year. Watch out. They're a sneaky team.
They're like you guys have been saying the whole time. The committee kind of let it rest on the schedule going forward. They're going to let things happen on their own. Michigan State plays Ohio State this weekend. That's a big one. If Michigan State pulls that one, guess what? They're top 4 all of a sudden. If they run the table, obviously. Michigan, same thing. If they run the table, they got a shot to get in there. The schedule is going to speak for itself going forward here. Cincinnati, they need a lot of help. They need people to lose in front of them. But we want to talk about if Alabama winds up losing to Georgia, what could possibly happen?
Well, that's one of the scenarios that was brought up in this article by Heather Dinich on ESPN.com yesterday, and that is if, in fact, Alabama loses, and we've presented this question before, especially with Oklahoma.
This is your brainchild
especially
right
with Oklahoma now with a loss, and the Big 12 seemingly is out. I'm just going to go ahead and say the Big 12 is out, whether right or wrong. For the purposes of this argument, I'm going to say that the Big 12 is out. You look at Alabama, if in fact they lose a close game to Georgia and have 2 losses, will a 2-loss Alabama team get in before Cincinnati? And the answer to Heather Dinich, according to this article, was yes. You're going to see a 2-loss Alabama team in the college football playoff over an unbeaten Cincinnati team. It's just the way it's going to be. 70% chance of that happening. Now, you want to talk about chaos? Yeah. That will bring the chaos. We all need chaos in our lives, especially when look, that's what makes college football so unique, is all of the chaos that goes along with it. There would be just craziness if that happens.
Yeah, but I think this is meaningful chaos. I think that everybody has talked about how this structure is set up. People haven't liked it from the jump. When they first, implemented this in 2014, people didn't like it. People still don't like it. People are talking about, we want 6 teams, we want 8 teams, we want 12 teams. We want to try something different. Here's the year to shake it all up. Here's the year I think that they will be faced with a situation that there might not be any coming back from. They may have to extend the teams. They may have to add more teams in the play-in. Here's an interesting question, Mazza. You kind of touched on it, but you kind of didn't. If Michigan State beats Ohio State, where do they go? Because I legitimately, if Michigan State beats an Ohio State team that we all know is better than Oregon, we know Ohio State is better than Oregon. I think Ohio State is equal to Alabama, if not better. Equal to Alabama, if not better. If Michigan State beats Ohio State, do they move to number 2?
No.
Why not?
Not yet. Because that will play itself out as well. Right. I think the committee would allow Alabama the right to stay at 2 until they play Georgia in the SEC championship game. You don't have to move them yet.
But it's November. I think you have to, and this is why I say that. I think you have to because right now it doesn't seem like the committee is doing anything. It doesn't seem like they're going back there and meeting about much. And the things that they are doing, it seems like people have, they disagree with a lot of it. But all I'm saying is Michigan State's number 7, if they were to beat a number 4 Ohio State in November, I can't see why they couldn't slide up to 2.
You'll hear from Gary Barta on the Michigan State situation here. He had something to say, which I think was kind of silly, if I'm being totally honest with you. He never really makes good sense. He really didn't make any sense. We're all still trying to parse words here. But we'll also talk to Tom Van Haaren, ESPN college football reporter. And I've got a stat for you that pretty much tells you that Michigan State, Notre Dame, Oklahoma State, Wake Forest, Baylor, Ole Miss, nobody's got a chance of getting into the college football playoff. I'll tell you that.
I want to see this.
Next, Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
And a miraculous catch.
Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
Hey guys, I want to tell you about our turkey games that we're playing here now through November 22nd. If you want a chance to sit front row on the Thanksgiving Day game against the Lions and Bears and a turkey, listen to our show at 3 o'clock. That's the bottom line. Morning Woodward show at 9 and Big D Energy at noon for your chance to qualify. What's going to happen is we're going to give you a word. Braylon, what's that word today?
You know what, Alex?
What's the word today?
The word today is
I got the word.
Okay, Maz
has the word.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up is the word today. When we say thumbs up in the 3 o'clock hour, be the first one to go to the YouTube chat, write in thumbs up, and we'll get you qualified today. And then we're qualifying through the 22nd. We'll pick a winner on the 23rd. You get 2 free tickets, front row to the Lions Thanksgiving Day game against the Bears, and a turkey. So play our turkey games with us. Woodward Sports Network.
Alex was like that Geico commercial.
If you look at it statistically, set aside watching the games, that's certainly a part of it. But statistically, in just about every category, offensively and defensively, Michigan comes out on top over Michigan State. Again, it certainly is understood and considered that Michigan State beat Michigan, but at the end of the day, the committee added another game this week, and the committee decided that Michigan is still needing to be ranked a game ahead of Michigan State. Next week, we'll come back and we'll look at it again.
Gary Barta taking some flack for that quote, set aside watching the games. Unfortunately, this game is not played on paper, but as a Michigan fan, I will always take pleasure in being ranked above Michigan State, whether rightfully or wrongfully. Doesn't matter to me. It's all good. But there you have it. Let's bring in Tom Van Haaren, ESPN college football reporter, author, of course, wrote Braylon's book with him. Tom, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, it's right here. I've got. I don't know if viewers can see me at home. I've got the video on, and I think it's mirrored. So I've been like tilting my head and trying to figure. I can't figure out which way I'm supposed to rotate because it's backwards. So I'm.
You look perfect.
You look good.
Don't move. Perfect. Don't move.
You're absolutely perfect. Like the way the books flow on the left and the right, it's perfect.
Hey Tom, first thing I want to ask you, react to what Gary Barta said last night, taking a lot of flack for that comment of watching the games, don't pay attention to the games, just look on paper, essentially. What do you make of that?
He's probably kicking himself for saying it, right? Yeah. I mean, he would probably like an edit button and go back and say it differently. I have to imagine what he meant to say was, in addition to watching the games, or along with watching the games, because they obviously do watch them. It was an unfortunate way to word that, aside from watching the games, because like you just said, it's not played on paper, and if we're not paying attention to what happens in the games, then what are we doing? Why are we even playing? We could just hit this simulate button on NCAA video games and just see what happens and rank them from there. But I have to imagine he'd like to go back and take that back. I think that's not what he meant. I think he meant they're paying attention to the games, but it was an unfortunate way to say it.
You know what? I don't want to talk about the Michigan State being ranked below Michigan. I think we've talked about that enough. Here's a good question for you, something random. Name me a team or point out a team that you see in the top 10 that could be dangerous, that could shake it up and potentially get into that top 4, maybe even that third spot that's not there now, that's somewhere between 6 through 10 or even 11, 12.
Yeah, I mean, I think really in the top 10, the only teams are probably, because at this point you have to consider what's left, right? With only 2 weeks left, if you're not in the top 7 right now, and you don't have a lot on your schedule, then it's probably going to be difficult to move up. So I think the only teams that maybe have a chance within that top 10 is Notre Dame and Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State, Braylon, I heard you talking about they've got to play Oklahoma and then potentially in the Big 12 championship game. If they can do that, to me, that's a lot left on the plate. It's a lot left to show the committee that they're a good team and they could maybe get in. Notre Dame, they've already had some big games. That unfortunately they've got that loss to Cincinnati. That's going to make it difficult for them going forward. But I think those are probably the only 2 teams, because if you look at the top 4, Georgia, I don't think, barring anything crazy, they seem to be the biggest lock. Alabama, I don't know how you guys feel about this. I know some of my coworkers disagree with me, but I think the committee putting Alabama at number 2, it's setting themselves up. If Alabama and Georgia are in the SEC championship game, Alabama loses to Georgia, I think the committee, depending on what else happens, but I think the committee still probably gives themselves a case to say, well, Alabama lost to the number 1 ranked team in the SEC championship game. We could probably still slot them in at number 4.
And Tom, Tom, I gotta say, you're absolutely right about that, and I think rightfully so. I'm sorry to the Cincinnati Bearcats. As long as there's only 4 teams that get to be in the college football playoff, I just don't think you should be allowed to have a 113th ranked strength of schedule. Go try to win one game on your schedule and then just be a shoo-in for the college football playoff when Alabama has to go play a game against a top 10 or top 11 team in Texas A&M, and then the number one team in the country. I don't. Maybe I'm a bad person for thinking that Alabama belongs in over Cincinnati, but I do.
Yeah, and I tend to agree with you. I do have an issue with the whole Cincinnati argument, though, because people say that. When I made the case for Cincinnati to be in the top 4 right now because they're undefeated, they've gone through their schedule, they have beaten Notre Dame, and the pushback that I got was, well, play harder teams. And it's like, okay, well, Cincinnati can't switch conferences in the middle of the season, right? I mean, everybody, the committee knew that this was their schedule beforehand. So in my argument back to that, and I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, I think that is probably going to end up being the case, but my whole thing with that is if Cincinnati goes undefeated and we're at the end of the season, we're sitting here saying, well, they should have played harder teams, then why are they even in the conversation to begin with?
Fair enough.
That's what I've been saying.
You're absolutely right. Fair enough. But
the committee knew that's their schedule going into this. They can't change that.
Totally fair enough. Totally fair enough. And isn't this season specifically, when you look at it holistically, isn't this the perfect season to catapult us towards that next kind of playoff realm? There is no unbeatable team on this 4-team playoff. I mean, you could look at the top 12 teams and everybody could beat everybody. Isn't this the perfect season to kind of get you towards that 6, 8, 10, 12 team? Yes.
Yeah, I think what it is it's the perfect rebuttal to when all this expansion came out and everybody started talking about it. I think the biggest argument was, well, you're not going to have 12 teams that deserve to be in the playoff, or 8 teams, or whatever it is. And I think that was the biggest argument that I heard about expanding. When you look at the schedule now, I think that's the biggest rebuttal to that argument. That you look at Michigan, the argument between Michigan State, the argument between what's going to happen between those 2 teams in Ohio State, which one gets in? It's probably splitting hairs at this point. So now, if you don't have to make that argument and you can put all those teams in, I don't know about you guys, but I've never understood the argument of there's not 12 good enough teams to get in. It's free college football, and let's let them settle it, right? I had great advice given to me before I got into this industry. I was a little bit nervous. I was actually in the advertising industry, and I went and talked to somebody, and I said, I'm not sure if I have the right look, the right sound. And that person looked at me and said, don't make the decision for them. Let them make that decision.
Exactly.
There you go.
Tom Van Haaren joins us. ESPN College Football.
Why don't we let them play?
Absolutely, Tom.
Wise words.
That's what it's all about. That's why I say, why not just do it like Division II does it and play the whole damn playoff? I mean, it works in Division II. There's no reason that it can't work in Division I. Just take away the conference championship games and a couple of the patsies that you got to play. Who's Georgia playing this week? Charleston Southern or something?
South Carolina, Charleston.
You don't need those games. I just think if you could, can't you mirror it like Division II?
Yeah, was it Mike Leach or Jim Harbaugh that said every other sport and level of sport figures out a playoff system, but somehow college football Division I, they can't, FBS, they can't figure it out. I don't know why that is. But yeah, I mean, I see the argument for playing too many games and player safety. I get that, but I do think if you get into that argument, I do think then you have to bring what you just brought up in those games against FCS opponents and games that really don't mean anything to those FBS programs, or Georgia, Alabama last week. Those games don't really mean anything to anybody outside of money for the FCS program. So I think there is definitely a way to do this where it's responsible, where you're not putting the players' health at risk, where you're not playing too many games, but you're making it all worthwhile and you're giving more teams a shot. I mean, ultimately, isn't that what, Braylon, when you chose Michigan, and when I talked to recruits a lot about this, when you chose Michigan, you wanted the opportunity to play for a championship. And when these recruits now go into situations where they pick teams, they do think that some other programs have a shot, and they do think they have a shot to win a championship. But realistically, if you look at the college football playoff, there's only a handful of teams that they could go to and get a shot at playing at a championship. Why not expand that and give other people a shot?
Yeah, you're 100% right. I was talking to my dad, and this is, what Michigan was back in the day, and with the big schools, the reason why the big schools had a monopoly because the big schools were on TV and the big schools played for the championship. Now, you can pretty much go anywhere and have success. You go anywhere and be on TV. So it's much different than it was when I was coming out and my dad was coming out. Yeah.
And you're right. From the NFL standpoint, these kids can now go, to Buffalo, to MAC schools or wherever and get found. But in terms of winning a championship, if you're not at Georgia, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, outside of those schools, do you really have a realistic shot at a title? I don't know.
Tommy, I just want to get off the conference, the playoff for a second. Michigan State, Ohio State this weekend. Do you see any chance that the Spartans stay in this game and possibly win?
Yeah, there's a chance. I mean, especially this season, it's been chaos across the board, and I think given Ohio State's the issues that they've had on defense, we've seen throughout the season that they've made changes within who's making the play or who's calling the plays. It's been uncharacteristic for them this season on defense, where they're starting to improve. We're seeing some improvements, but there are still some flaws there that I think Michigan State can exploit. Especially with Kenneth Walker in the run game. I think they can, but the problem that I see with this game is Michigan State's secondary has been bad all season. And now you're coming into a game where Ohio State has the deepest wide receiver core in the Big Ten. C.J. Stroud, C.J. Stroud, Ohio State's quarterback, ever since he took that week off against Akron to nurse that injury, he's been lights out. And he's been setting Ohio State records and putting up huge numbers. And you put that against a Michigan State secondary who, against Purdue, made Aiden O'Connell look like Drew Brees. I think it's going to be really, really hard for Michigan State to go, if they're going to have to go point for point with Ohio State in this game. I don't know that they can do it, and I think it's going to be difficult if that secondary can't stop C.J. Stroud and those receivers.
Hey, Tom, here's a quick question about Michigan before we let you go. Who would I be if I didn't ask you about my alma mater? With the season that they're having right now, nobody expected Jim Harbaugh and the new coaching staff to be able to get these guys to where right now they're 9-1. When it's all said and done, let's say they lose to Ohio State. Let's say they go 10-2. Let's say they beat Ohio State and they go 11-1. Actually, let's do the losing side. Makes my question better. If they lose and they go 10-2, they lose Ohio State, but they beat everybody else. They beat Wisconsin on the road. They beat Penn State on the road. They looked well. They played well. They were very efficient. Is there an asterisk by this season because Penn State wasn't as good as they had been? Wisconsin was not as good as they had been. The schedule wasn't necessarily as strong as it has been in the past, with the exception of Ohio State and Michigan State. Is there an asterisk, or is it just, no, this was good coaching, this was good football, and this was good play?
No, I don't see an asterisk there at all. I think this was, everything that we just talked about with the parity, with the chaos. It's just been kind of a different season for everybody. And everybody is, I think, is dealing from a little bit of a hangover from last season, and everybody's dealing with the same thing. So I don't see an asterisk, and I think what I tend to look at, I was actually asked recently if I thought Scott Frost at Nebraska and Jim Harbaugh at Michigan were in similar situations, and I said no, I think they're in opposite situations. I think Scott Frost, the direction of that program is completely different than Michigan's, and if you look at the direction of the program right now, the things that the players are saying about Michigan, how they feel about it, what's happening in recruiting, the coaching changes, now some of the consistency and the chemistry that we're seeing with the coaching staff. I think the direction of the program for me is headed now in the right direction. If they lose to Ohio State, there is absolutely going to be criticism against Jim Harbaugh. He's going to feel that. But I think there's still a lot of positives to take away from this season, and it's headed towards working towards improving and in the right direction, for me at least. That's how I see it.
And by the way, Braylon, the only asterisk would be by that 2 loss, because if it wasn't for the poor officiating, Michigan would have beaten Michigan State, by the way. I had to do it.
Hey, I'm not mad. I think it, but I don't want to say it anymore, so you can say it for me.
Right, well, Jim's telling Dan Orlovsky about it in pregame.
He had it all broken down.
He had all the plays broken down for Dan Orlovsky of how the officials screwed him in the Michigan State game. Tom Van Haaren, we appreciate you, my man. Hopefully we get a chance to talk to you next week in advance of the Michigan-Ohio State game.
There we go.
All right, have a good day, guys. See you.
Tom, appreciate
Bye, Tom.
Follow him on Twitter at TomVH, and of course ESPN college football reporter. Guys, I'm gonna get you my stat of all stats.
I've been waiting for this.
I'm gonna get that to you next. Also, I'm gonna tell you why it's important for Michigan to be good. Ermanni and Edwards.
What?
Why it's important for college football for Michigan to be good.
Okay, that makes more sense. Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line. I was like, what?
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. One mortgage myth we hear all the time is having to choose between a 15 or a 30-year fixed term. At Hall Financial, we offer the modern mortgage to create a flexible term that fits your unique financial situation. Our team of mortgage experts are available 7 days a week to review your goals and customize a solution for you. Get started today with a free 5-minute mortgage review at 866-CALL-HALL or chat with us online at callhallfirst.com.
Hey, gang, it's Maz from MyBookie.ag, our studio sponsor, and, of course, the place I put all my sports wagering in. Can't wait tomorrow, Thursday night football, rematch of the Super Bowl a few years ago, Atlanta blowing that one. Remember that one, 28-3? Yeah, to the New England Patriots. Rematch tomorrow night, and tonight you've got Michigan State against Butler. Great basketball tonight. Michigan loses a heartbreaker last night at Seton Hall.
God.
You could have got it all if you went to mybookie.ag. Remember, if you're a first-timer and you put your money in for the first time, use the promo code Woodward. Why? Because MyBookie will double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. MyBookie.ag is the place. Remember, use that promo code Woodward. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. And if you have a gambling problem, check out the Michigan Gambling Hotline, 1-800-270-7117.
The reason why I asked that question to Tom right towards the end is, would it be an asterisk per se if it was 10-2, is because the analysts, media, journalists, bloggers, they always like to talk about Jim Harbaugh. They say he wins 10 games, but it's a bunch of wins that don't matter. He'll win 9 games, and it's a bunch of wins that don't matter. So that's why I asked that question.
I see what you're saying about that, but doesn't this year feel different because of the coaching changes, because of a different feeling out there? This doesn't seem to be like the same. Let's just say they hypothetical, they lose to Ohio State, go 10-2. Doesn't this seem like a different conversation though? Because I feel like this is year one of something different.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm definitely on the side of that. I was more so asking to get Tom's temperature, see what he was thinking about it, and he answered. He gave me an answer that I was hoping that he would give me. He said, no, it wouldn't be an answer. It does seem different. You look at these games, and we talked about this on Monday and Tuesday. They're winning these games.
Right.
Like late in the game, you think they're going to win. You think they're going to make the defensive stop. You think they're going to score the touchdown. So it is very different than it has been. But at the same time, it always comes down to, you know what it's going to be. If they beat Ohio State, and if they don't beat Ohio State, how bad is the game?
Look, I know people will think that's a delusional statement to make in year 7 of Jim Harbaugh, that this feels like a year 1, but with 6 of 10 assistant coaches being changed, the average age of these guys is under 45 years old. There seems to be a different feeling around the Michigan football program, around Schembechler Hall, and I just think that you've got to, regardless what happens 2 weeks from now, go in next year, same group, and see what you can do next year. You're going to have a senior quarterback as well, upperclassman as a quarterback.
Yeah, it definitely is different, Phil.
So the college football playoff rankings came out last night. And the reason why it's important to be where these teams were ranked last night was because, and I'll give Heather Dinich of ESPN credit for this statistic, at this point in the season, week 3 of the playoff rankings, of the 28 playoff contenders over the years, 26 of them have been ranked in the top 6 this late in the season. So only 2 times has a playoff team been outside of the top 6 after this third week of the rankings. Now, if you look, there's only one team, in my opinion, that can do that this year, and that's Michigan State. If you go to East Lansing and win a football game and then come home and beat Penn State, and then you got to go to Wisconsin.
I think Michigan State is one of the 2 teams.
I don't know where they were ranked.
2015.
Yeah, but I don't know where they were ranked in, at that point in the season. Maybe they were.
Because they ended up beating Ohio State down in Columbus,
Yeah.
and that's what I was actually going to talk about that, but I've spoiled one of my takes.
Yeah, I don't know where they were ranked at that point in the season, but 26 of the 28 playoff teams have been ranked in the top 6 of Week 3's playoff rankings before, so I think that's worth pointing out. I also said, guys, that I believe it's important for college football to have Michigan be good, and we saw another example of that this weekend. Here's the stat on it. Michigan-Penn State ratings were the highest afternoon game rating on ABC this year. So Michigan now owns the highest rated ABC game this year in an afternoon slot, and they own the highest rated college football game regardless of time slot or network when they played Michigan State earlier this year. And no disrespect to the Spartans, but Michigan, and Neil Rule said this a couple of weeks ago when Michigan State were playing, said Michigan is a brand. And I totally agree with it. Yeah. That Block M is a brand, and when the brand is also a good football team, kind of up there amongst the nation's best, a top 10, top 6 team, well, you're going to get a look at it. And there you have it. People, it's almost like college football fans are yearning for Michigan to be good. Call me crazy, whatever you want. I don't care. College football wants Michigan to be good.
Where did I grow up, guys?
Yeah,
Where did I grow up?
New York.
Who's
Jersey.
my favorite team?
Michigan.
Why?
Because they were on TV.
And they were what?
Good.
That's why I'm a Michigan fan. I grew up watching them. I couldn't wait. I told you. First stop when I moved here. My wife, my girlfriend at the time, take me to Ann Arbor. I want to go look at the big house. Mm-hmm. And I went to the big house, and I was sold.
Fell in love.
I was in love already.
Yeah.
That just locked me in for life.
I was going to say the same thing. Like, they're a national brand, and it's no disrespect, like you said, to Michigan State, but it's been that way for a very long time. Like, that's something that you got to see on ABC in the 70s, in the 60s. You got to see Bo Schembechler. You got to see Bo versus Woody. You got to see, Anthony Carter. You got to see Anthony Carter. You got to see Tyrone Wheatley. You got to see what Charles Woodson did with the one-hand catch against Michigan State, the punt return. You got to see the Heisman pose by Desmond Howard.
You got to hear Keith Jackson.
Keith Jackson.
Because he was doing their games.
Exactly. You got Keith Jackson doing the games. You got the winged helmet. They're able to see that from Ann Arbor all the way out to Pasadena, all the way down to Atlanta, and et cetera. So they're a brand that has built the Fab Five. We didn't even bring that into to play. The band, the fight song, the Fab Five with Jalen. Like, they're a brand. Michigan is a brand, and people love it. People's parents grew up on Michigan being good. It makes sense.
And not only that, Braylon, but again, if you look at the college football playoff rankings, and again, this is no slight to the Spartans, but there are very few teams, I think, that the committee would put in front of a team that already beat you.
Yeah.
And I think something about that Block M has to do with Michigan being ranked in front of Michigan State, because the Spartans did beat the Wolverines. So why are, and we've talked about that, but it just kind of adds to the intrigue about college football as a community wanting Michigan to be good. And we'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks. It's going to be a fun couple of weeks. We have not seen anything like this in quite some time around here, where you feel like there's a legitimate shot to beat Ohio State this year.
It's a brand, but at the same time, people are still killing me with that, why Michigan was ranked above Michigan State. Yeah. Yes, Michigan is a brand. The Block M is a brand. People want Michigan to be good on a national appeal. But at the end of the day, after Michigan State was ranked number 3, they went down to Purdue, and they got waxed by a team that is unranked. That is why Michigan is ranked in front of Michigan State. That's why.
Guys, I want to change it up a little bit. I want to talk about the Detroit Lions. There is somebody new that was taking number 1 reps at quarterback. We'll get to that. Also, Mike Utley coming up top of hour number 2. We'll get to all of it next. This is Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Start a career in an industry that is always essential. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, talking about the heating and cooling industry. Visit northwesterntech.edu to find out how you can make $77,000 right out of the gate, right after you finish. Visit northwesterntech.edu right now.
Cleveland getting a lot of respect this week as we turn our attention to the NFL. A double-digit favorite against the Detroit Lions. The Cleveland Browns 10-point favorites against Detroit. Cleveland 5-5 of the year. 0-8-1 are the Detroit Lions. Jared Goff is questionable for this one. And guess who is getting some first-team reps at quarterback, guys?
Hasn't he been questionable all year, though?
My guy.
TB12.
That's
nope,
it.
not Tom Brady. This Tom Brady, Tim Boyle.
That
Tim
is
Boyle
Maz's
12, right?
guy. How
you
happy
love
are you,
Tim
Maz?
Boyle.
I don't even know anything about him, but I heard he's like a unicorn.
Other than he looked real good.
Yes.
Or actually, he looked real bad in preseason. Tim Boyle played like
The last
crap.
game, he was pretty good. That last preseason game, he was good till he got hurt. He got a touchdown. He let him down the field with that bad thumb. Anyway, Dan Campbell spoke about it today, about Jared Goff and going forward from him.
Oh, let's have a listen.
Let's go. DC.
This will be good.
We're taking it day to day. He's going to sit today, and then we'll reassess tomorrow and see how he's feeling. I think right now it'll be Boyle, but certainly Blau's going to get some reps too. So we'll just, those guys got to be ready to go, and then if Jared can go, he'll go.
So there you go. I guess Jared Goff does not need practice. If he's ready to go, he will go. But Tim Boyle getting first-team reps. And look, Jared Goff.
Yeah.
We've seen what we needed to see. I mean, I don't know if you stick him out there. Why don't you just give the people what they want anyway?
Listen to me. Myles Garrett would love Jared Goff to be behind center this weekend.
He could put him in his front yard.
He would.
His Halloween display.
He's mad from last week. I wouldn't want to go against the Browns this week.
Okay.
Not with that angry defense. They gave up 45 points last week. They're going to be very hungry. I'd surprise if the Lions score 2 touchdowns
And
this week.
not only did they give up 45 points, but after the game, and you mentioned this yesterday, Myles Garrett called out the coaching staff. He called out the way in which they were calling plays.
Yep.
He said that, and I understand where Myles Garrett is coming from. Like, I've been in situations, players have been in situations where the team knows what you're doing. Like, I remember being in Cleveland, and I think Maurice Carthon was our offensive coordinator.
I loved Mo.
Mo Carthon, Dallas guy, etc.
Giants.
Yep, Giants and
New
Dallas.
Jersey Generals.
He was on the championship team.
Yeah, he was.
But players would tell us, they're like, "Oh, here we go. It was third down. You gonna run the curl route, Braylon? Oh, you gonna run the curl route?"
Is that what they'd say?
Then you come on first down. There was Reuben Jones up the gut. What you gonna run 32 ISO draw? You're like, and then you go tell the coaches, "Hey, listen, they know our plays. They're calling out our plays. They're calling out everything we do. Not that we do anything special." And then the coaches don't change it.
How disheartening is that?
And you get your ASS whooped. Like Myles is the same way. Myles is like, "Hey, listen, man, they're calling out our stunts. They know what we're going to run on this play. They know what stunts we're going to do. They know what blitzes we're going to run. They know that I'm dropping off." And then they're executing, and you execute a butt whooping. Myles, he went after him, and good for him. And I hope, I'm just glad he's playing the Lions because you know it's coming.
Remember that cut I played last week at Cam Newton? Cam talking to the other defense saying, "Oh, you've been watching video. Watch this. See if you can stop this." But it's not Cam Newton.
That was a Tennessee Titans.
It was. It's not Cam Newton behind center, though. It's TB12.
And this would follow the Lions up-down theory in the NFL. And the Lions up-down theory isn't that they win. It's that they play close games. Every time they've played a close game, they have come back and get blown out. So that would follow this track of getting blown out against the Browns. Whatever you make of it, we'll see what happens. I just, the Lions have to do something offensively here to score some points because they cannot score any points. Even though this week against Pittsburgh was a really nice game, I really enjoyed the football game. I enjoyed the way it was called. You got to be able to throw the ball at some point, once or twice a quarter maybe. It'd be nice
to
air it out. I did not.
There's a stat. Alex, put the stat up of the Lions and the 20 points.
Oh, here you go.
Check this out.
Longest active streak of scoring fewer than 20 points. The Lions 8, the Jaguars 3, and 3 teams are tied at 2. They just cannot score points. And that's really the problem offensively on this team. So their defense has been pretty darn good. And their defense was supposed to be, we thought was going to be worse than it was a season ago. It has not been. In fact, it's been pretty solid. So offensively, you look at this thing and
you know how disheartening that is.
Real bad.
You know how disheartening that is for a defense, especially a defense that's undermanned. Like a defense that has no business, as they would say, based off stats, based off personnel, being in some of these games. For you to bust your butt, like bust your you-know-what, and you put it all on the line, you get sacks, you get to the quarterback, you hold Lamar Jackson to 19 points, you hold Kirk Cousins and that high-powered offense to 19 points. You're doing all this. You're putting in all this work. And they can't even score 17 points, 20 points. They can't score points. It's disheartening. And I'm going to tell you like this. As much faith as you have in your teammates, and you guys are all in it together. It's a collective. You know, you're unified. It still gets to a point where you separate and become the defense, and you're having conversation, Ryan. Like if you play if you play rush in, and I play outside linebacker, we're sitting on the bench, and I'm like, man, are they ever gonna score? Like Jesus Christ! Like, that becomes the mantra. That becomes the attitude, man, and it separates the squad.
They're gonna get a new receiver this week. You know, they got Josh Reynolds. He's gonna play. Dan Campbell had this to say about their newest wide receiver.
Well, look, he's a long linear guy. He has length. He's got speed, and he's kind of a build-to-speed guy. But you see when he can get a step into his route. You know, he's pretty good, and he's pretty fluid downfield. Tracks the ball pretty well, and so I think he can help us in some of our, you know, maybe one-on-one matchups. You know, give a ball out there and let him go attack a corner, you know, one-on-one. So that's kind of how we'll try to use him a little bit as well. But we also want him to be smart. I mean, we don't throw him to the wolves either, but he's certainly going. We'll get him in, get him going.
And, of course, we saw how difficult it was for Odell Beckham, too, right? I mean, you come and you have had this situation, Braylon. I know Reynolds wasn't traded here, but you were traded on a Wednesday, had to play on a Monday. Beckham traded on a Wednesday, played on a Monday. Right. Reynolds signed last week. He's going to play this week, so a couple of extra days of practice nonetheless. But it's not easy to jump in and just fully know the playbook. I mean, there's been OTAs and off-season program and training camp and half a season to learn the ins and outs of a playbook and a game plan. And Josh Reynolds does not have the benefit of that, so you got to scale that back a little bit.
But the difference is when you're talking about the Los Angeles Rams and what they've done, like they're a well-oiled machine. You see what Robert Woods was doing in there, how he was able. Like, he and Matt Stafford were connected. They were in sync. He's in sync with Cooper Kupp. He's in sync with the way in which the offense moves. And it's a pretty good offense when Matthew Stafford executes. That's not the same with the Detroit Lions. Like you said, the OTAs and training camp and mini camp and et cetera, doesn't seem like they've done all that. So I think, and now you have another quarterback that's potentially coming in. Their offense doesn't have anything going for them. Their offense has no consistency, no identity. Seems like they want to run the ball now with DeAndre Swift. Thank God. But in terms of Reynolds stepping in, I think he can step in and make some plays because it's not like they have anything like standard or they have anything in place. Hey, this is how we do it. This is where we are. They don't have any of that. So he can step in and make some plays.
Let me ask you guys this. If you're the Lions defense, who would you rather see? A banged-up Baker Mayfield or Case Keenum play this Sunday? Because you could see
Close
both
my
of them.
eyes. Neither. Case Keenum, I think, is
see Baker Mayfield 100%.
I think Case Keenum is exactly what you were hoping Jared Goff would be.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Case Keenum is probably the best.
Would have been a good fit here.
Case Keenum's probably the best backup quarterback in the NFL.
Hands down.
Because you could win a playoff game with Case Keenum under center.
He's done it.
Well, technically, like
Yeah,
you said,
he
he
has
won
done
too in Minnesota. He had the miracle play. He went down to the Saints the week before that, beat Drew Brees in New Orleans, came back with the miracle play.
God, I love Case Keenum.
I
don't know why.
Yeah, and he lost to the Eagles, but he won. He showed you. He's proven it.
Just just a good, solid NFL quarterback.
I think I'd rather see
assignment.
I'd rather see Mayfield too. If I'm the Lions.
because I mean he's sloppy out there. He'll turn the ball over.
He's hurt. Remember?
Oh yeah, that's right.
He's banged up.
Screw you, Baker. Hey, I want to have some fun next. Okay.
We're not having fun.
No, I want to really have some fun next. Okay. Little
Who wants to have some fun?
Have me some fun.
Little game show style. Stadium, arena, names. Staples Center's getting a new name. You won't believe what it is.
Ooh-wee.
Check you out.
Ooh-wee. We'll have it for you next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate
of Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Your Detroit alternative to the normal sports blah, blah, blah. It's Woodward Sports.
Hey, gang, I want to tell you about Lady Jane's haircuts for men. Do you think this haircut looks nice and smooth?
Looks smooth,
of course
man.
you do.
It looks smooth.
Ooh-wee. Well, then you got to come on in to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Several locations around the state of Michigan. All you got to do, 3-step process. Walk in that door, sign in, sit down, and before you know it, you are handsome and clean. You might want to get a hot lather neck shave, maybe a neck massage even, perhaps.
There you go.
A shampoo, lather up. Ooh, my goodness. All right. Open 7 days a week because the best ability, too, is availability. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk on in. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
All right, gang. There you go, Fish. Good on you, Fish. You guys ready for this?
You
I want
jumped
to have a
down
little
the throat
fun with you,
yesterday.
okay?
You prepared today.
I want to have a little fun with you guys. So, on December 25th, Christmas Day, Staples Center in Los Angeles is going to be known as the Crypto.com Arena.
Ooh,
$700 million deal in the naming rights over 20 years. To put that in perspective, well, here's the tweet. First of all, the iconic Staples Center will be renamed Crypto.com Arena in December. The crypto exchange is paying $700 million for the naming rights. That's nearly double the $375 million that it cost to build that arena in 1999.
Wow.
I do want to point out that the Little Caesars Arena naming rights deal here in Detroit, $124 million
That's
over
a hometown
20
deal.
years.
That's a hometown deal.
$124 million over 20 years. Crypto.com, $700 million
You know what's great about
for 20
that
years.
is the stadium was lit up blue.
Yeah.
The arena is now called Crypto. Well, the two most popular gangs in the world are Bloods and Crips. And Nipsey Blueface, who had his funeral there, rest in peace of Nipsey, was a Crip. And now it's Crypto, it's blue, it's interesting. It's random stuff. It's random
I love
stuff.
it. Very interesting.
Yeah.
But it got me to thinking, guys.
Wait a minute. You know what that blue is called? Forum blue. That's what the Lakers' true colors are.
That's
Forum
why they have
blue and
that.
gold.
That's why they have those alternate jerseys,
Correct.
right? They wear the blue jerseys.
Oh, that's what LCA was supposed to do on the top with the LCA,
Yes.
but didn't get around to
Yeah,
it.
they didn't get around to that.
Yeah.
That
people
many
still
other
pissed about
things. So it got me to thinking about other names in the NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, and the NFL. By the way, the only stadium in the NBA and NHL that does not have a naming rights deal, can you name it?
It used to be the Palace.
Lambeau Field?
No, in the NBA and NHL.
Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden, the only stadium that doesn't have a naming rights deal. But it got me thinking of all the other crazy names from stadiums. So I'm going to ask you a stadium name. I'm going to see if you guys know where it is.
All right. Who's going first?
Either way, you just whoever you both don't have to answer.
Okay.
Whatever. TIAA Bank Field. Anybody got a guess?
Bank is clearly baseball.
I got a guess.
What's your guess?
Baltimore.
No,
Milwaukee.
It is the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, how about Highmark Stadium? Highmark Stadium.
I think I know this one.
I don't.
Highmark is a food. I think it's like a cafeteria type food. Cleveland?
The Buffalo Bills play at Highmark Stadium. How about this?
You were
Ready?
close.
Empower Field. Empower Field.
My parents go to Empowerment Church, but I know that's not it.
Pray for me.
Empower Field.
Empower Field. Wow. Let's go to the Empower today, Dad.
That was terrible. I don't want to go anymore.
Empower Field used to be known as Mile High Stadium.
Oh, Denver. There you go.
The Denver Broncos.
It was something after that. It was a Sports Authority after that.
Yeah, maybe, perhaps.
Sports Authority after that.
How about this one,
be a good
guys?
store.
I don't even know how to say it. Gia Field. Gia Field. Geha. Gia Field. Gia Field.
Jeez.
That's a lot of money to pay for something you can't pronounce.
Cincy?
Used to be known as Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City Chiefs. You guys might get this one. Are you ready?
Yeah.
The Fiserv Forum.
The Fiserv
Forum.
I know this one.
What?
It's the Bucks.
Yep, the Milwaukee Bucks play at the Fiserv Forum. So we got
Remember the old Mecca?
One for five.
I got a bunch more, guys. Are you ready for this one? Want to go to the Game Bridge tonight?
The Game Bridge?
The Gain Bridge. You want to go to Gain Bridge Fieldhouse?
Game Bridge. That's got to be basketball.
Want to go to Gain Bridge Fieldhouse?
Right. Fieldhouse was got to be back. Oh, is it Indiana?
Yeah.
Indianapolis Pacers.
Used to be Conseco.
Yes.
Conseco.
Here's another one.
I'm done. I quit. I got my one.
Smoothie King Stadium.
I know this one.
That's
New Orleans.
New Orleans Pelicans.
Pelicans.
Yep.
Fly, Pelican, fly.
Smoothie King Center.
I was right and wrong at the same time. I knew it was New Orleans.
Superdome is now Mercedes-Benz.
I think that's actually
They
Smoothie
changed
King
it.
as
Yeah,
well.
they changed it to Caesars.
Caesars.
No,
that's right.
Caesars.
You're right. Okay.
Not Little Caesars.
All right,
Big
guys.
Caesars.
Hey, you want to go to the Paycom Center?
Oh, the Paycom Center.
Paycom Center.
Is it free?
That's got to be. It's got to be hoops.
Anybody want to go to the Paycom
Center?
Center?
I'll go with the Florida Panthers.
No, the Paycom Center is the Oklahoma City Thunder.
The Thunder.
Oklahoma City Thunder. What about? Hey, you guys want to go see a game tonight at the Lone Depot Park?
Oh, Lone Depot Park.
So that's baseball.
Lone Depot Park.
It's not Chicago. It's not the White Sox. They like guaranteed rate field.
That's on. We should just put that up because that's one of them. That's the one. Remember I said I think you're going to get one of them.
Cardinals?
Guaranteed rate is the Chicago
So
White Sox.
Lone
That's one of
Depot
them.
Park. It's got to be one of the new ones. How about Texas?
No.
Diamondbacks?
No, it is the Miami Marlins play at Lone Depot Park.
Okay.
You might get this one too because it's the Ring Central Coliseum.
Ring Central.
Ring
It's
Central.
got to be hoops again or hockey. Hoops or hockey.
The Ring Central Coliseum.
Florida Panthers.
It's Ring Central, so you know it's not Detroit. That was a little joke. No ring for Detroit. You guys suck.
It takes me a minute.
I don't know. I quit.
It is the Coliseum, the Oakland A's.
Oakland
A's. Okay, guys, just a couple more. Two more. You already got the guaranteed rate, so let's put that up on the screen if you watch it on YouTube or Twitter. Guaranteed rate field is
the Chi Sox.
The old Comiskey, the old U.S. Cellular Field, the White Sox. Two more,
Sell
guys.
hell.
Here, you might get this one. Climate Pledge Arena. Climate Pledge Arena. You might get that one.
Can I give him hints?
Yes.
It's new. It's new, but that's too big of a hint.
Vegas.
No, it is the Seattle Kraken.
Oh, the
play at
Kraken.
Climate Pledge Arena. And the last one, guys, is the PPG Paints Arena.
I know that
where the
one.
Pittsburgh Penguins. Play. So I thought that was pretty fun.
Very nice.
Isn't it? But you think about these old games, like when I'd go down to Tiger Stadium or Joe Louis Arena or the Palace. We here in Detroit
We had some great
had
ones.
4 beautiful stadiums that weren't named after anything. The Silverdome, the Palace, fit for the Kings of basketball, Tiger Stadium, and Joe Louis. I mean, that was
And Cobo before that.
And Cobo before that. You know what? Wasn't that just fantastic.
Yeah, that's the way. It's the way we loved it back in the day.
Tom just texted me. He's
again.
pissed because Tom and I talked about Smoothie King Arena earlier today, and I still got it wrong. I still said the Saints as opposed to the Pelicans. So.
DJ Tom.
Yeah, I cheated and still got it wrong.
That is so great. Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse.
That's Cleveland?
That's Cleveland.
That's Cleveland, but those were some of the really kind of off the beaten path stadiums.
I think the worst one is Guaranteed Rate Field. That's got to be the worst.
The only thing that would be worse than Guaranteed Rate Field is if they did GuaranteedRate.com field.
Yeah.
You know, couldn't you just call it Crypto Arena instead of Crypto.com Arena if you're the Los Angeles Lakers?
The
But
Crypto.
I guess that wouldn't be
You're
the
gonna call
website.
it the Crypt.
Do you know how many people
There
went?
you go. Tales from the Crypt.
Do you know how many people went to Crypto.com today when this story came out? Because
A gazillion people.
Yes. I mean, that 700 million, they probably made it up in a day with all the people depositing
hours.
money on Crypto.com.
Isn't that something?
These guys are getting paid iron, man.
Guess what? American Family Field. What team plays at American
Reds.
Family
Cincinnati.
Field? Cincinnati? No.
American Family Field.
Mm-hmm.
Man. American Family.
Give us a hint.
I went there this summer to watch a game.
Oh, St. Louis.
No.
Milwaukee.
The National.
Milwaukee, yeah.
Milwaukee.
Oh. There's some
That
wild
was Miller
ones, man.
Park, I guess.
We're actually pretty lucky here. I mean, with Ford Field, Ford being a major brand.
Heck yeah.
Comerica has, maybe because we're so used to Comerica Park, but you mentioned they want to call it the Crib. They probably won't want to call it because remember when we tried to call it the Copa?
Then we called it the Coma.
Yeah, and then they were like, no, you cannot call it the Copa. We paid
top dollar.
$20 million a year for that. Yeah.
We in the radio biz, they would
television
tell us,
too.
Like if you would
do not
abbreviate
say it. Yeah, do not say Copa.
Yep. We would get the emails from the Tigers back in the early 2000s as well at the television station and say, do not refer to us as the Copa. Absolutely, it's Comerica Park.
Wow, I would have emailed them back.
Let's go down to the Copa for the highlights. No, let's head to Comerica Park.
I would have emailed them back. All right, I apologize.
All right, great. Hey, guys. 30 years ago today, Mike Utley suffered a life-altering injury during a football game against the LA Rams. It's one of those images that is ingrained in everybody's mind that was here. I'll never forget it myself. We will talk to Mike Utley. We'll do it next. This is Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Yeah.
Woodward Sports is giving you a chance to sit front row on Thanksgiving. All you have to do is survive our squid game. Nope, our turkey games. Listen every day to the Morning Woodward Show at 9 a.m. Big D Energy at noon. And the bottom line at 3 p.m. for your chance to qualify. The winner of turkey games will get tickets to the Thanksgiving Day Detroit game.
Hey, it's Thanksgiving. Shouldn't you be in Detroit losing a football game right now?
Plus a turkey. So if you think you can master our turkey games challenges, watch, listen, and win. Make sure you're following @Woodward Sports on all social media or go to woodwardsports.com for additional chances to qualify. May the best turkey win.
Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards. This is the bottom line on Woodward Sports, top of hour number 2, and we'll get right to it. He's a former Lions guard, third-round pick of the Detroit Lions from Washington State. 30 years ago today,
Wazoo.
paralyzed in a game versus the LA Rams at the Silverdome, November 17, 1991. And then Mike Utley started the foundation, the Thumbs Up Foundation, finding a cure for paralysis. MikeUtley.org is the website. We bring him in now. What a pleasure to be joined by Mike Utley. Mike, how you doing, buddy?
Thumbs up, Mike.
What's up, buddy?
Doing good, gentlemen. Doing good.
What a pleasure it is to speak with you, sir. And just as a kid who was a huge Lions fan, a huge fan of everything going on, what a pleasure it is to speak with you today, especially. When I say 30 years ago today, Mike, what kind of emotions come with that?
You know, everyone asks these emotions. Gentlemen, it was business. You know, and it is what it is. As my dad says, you got to step up and be a man when it's time to be a man, and it's right now it's time to be a man. And so every day I just deal with the situation that's in front of me. Nothing more, nothing less.
Mike, this has been your life longer, living essentially in a wheelchair longer than, for lack of a better way to say it, in a able-bodied man. I apologize, I don't know how else to say it. This has been your life longer than one is a professional athlete, or one is walking around, running around, whatever the case may be. Can you just kind of talk about that? How this is what your life has become, and just how empowering that has become to you and so many others.
Oh my God, my good man! Do you sit down when you tinkle? Jesus, freaking Christ! One leg at a time. I jump up. I still got a wife I got to deal with every single day. I gotta pay the bills, man. It's realville. Yes, it sucks I got hurt and all that kind of stuff, but in reality, you got to deal with it every single day. I do the things I need to do to make sure I'm healthy, I stay alive, I am productive, because I promised myself I will never be a burden on society. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever.
Hey, Mike, Braylon Edwards here. First thing I want to say is my father, Stan Edwards, says hello. My father, Stan, former teammate, he already says. Yeah, Big Stan says hello. The second thing is, someone else that was drafted in 1989 who I actually got cool with was Dennis Byrd. Dennis Byrd was also temporarily paralyzed with the New York Jets, and he obviously, like I said, temporary, but he became a big motivational speaker for us, and he was a huge motivation for me when we were with the Jets in the 2009 and 2010 championship runs in the AFC. And I used to just ask him, I said, yo, what was your motivation? Like, what got you? Like, what did you draw from in terms of being able to start walking again, in terms of to keep going, in terms of football was no longer there for you, but you continue the quality of life? And he said he drew from the military. He drew from the military and the things that they did over there and how they fought for our freedoms, and the things that they went through was nothing. What he was going through was nothing compared to what they went through. I want to ask you, what did you draw on? What was your strength? What allowed you to be able to, like you say, man up and do what you have to do?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know what it comes down to, to be honest with you, it was the role models of called mom and dad. Dad did what he had to do with 4 kids and a wife to support, getting laid off 3 times. Mom stood up and did what she had to do, working the 3rd shift to make sure one parent was home with us 4 kids. And that's reality. And I want to make sure I get out there and do those little things my parents did for me. Now with my wife, we're not blessed with children, but I have nieces. I'm uncle to a lot of buddies' kids. So these are the things I must do every single day to be a role model for them, because they remember the kids are our future.
Mike Utley joins us, former Lion guard, 30 years ago today, injured at that Rams and Lions game at the Silverdome. Thumbs up to Mike. It's been, what a battle. By the way, Darren McCarty works on our station, says he still does things with you, wants to give you his best. And tell us a little bit about that Lion team back then, how great they were, and really how bad, unfortunately, it's become here in Detroit. Do you still follow the Lions?
Oh, number one, yes, sir, I do follow the Lions. I'm a Lion through and through. 2 things. The NFL has been very good to me, but the biggest thing is the Ford family. Mr. Ford originally, Mrs. Ford, now the Ford family. The daughter's taken over. They have been wonderful. I have been blessed by playing, for the Ford family and being a Detroit Lion. That's number one. When it comes down to it, for me, it's watching what we did in '91 with Lomas Brown, Chris Spillman, and the whole gang. God, that was phenomenal. I just wish they would have won one more game.
Yeah.
I understand it didn't work out, and the Redskins did win. And my friend Mark Rippon was my first quarterback at Washington State. They took it and he won. He became the MVP. I'm proud of him. I'm glad for him. But Jesus criminy, gentlemen, buck up and get back on the winning ways, because God dang it, I want the playoffs. And one day, while I'm still alive, I want you to go to the Super Bowl, because one, I want to go, I want to ring, and that's the future for the Lions if they do what they got to do now.
We had Chris Spielman, your former teammate, on a couple of weeks ago, Mike, and you brought up his name, so that kind of just jogged my memory about it. Just talk to me about how you think he is kind of helping to lead this organization. It's not, look, it's year one of a rebuild right now, but it seems like the right man is at the top of this organization.
That's true. You could not get a better person than Chris Spielman. Number two, you can't get a better linebacker, but a role model. That's a ticket. Chris has been there, and that little fella has led by example by getting there, being there early, doing what he needed to do as a professional athlete to be a leader of that defense, but most of all, a leader of that team. And that was what was so impressive by it. But I'm going to give you a quick story about Chris Spielman. It was my first trip back after my injury, and Chris was the only guy in the locker room, and I wheeled up to him. I said, "Hey, Chris, man, can I ask for a big favor?" He goes, "Sure, what?" I said, "Dude, I got to wedge you. I got shorts on, and I got to wedge you. Can you the pant legs there and kind of pull them out?" And he goes, "Absolutely." I raised up. He pulls them out. I sat back down. He walked about 4 or 5 feet away. He turned around. He goes, "Mike, your friends don't care." And he walked away. Yep. That's what kind of man Chris Spielman is. He's an example of what a friendship is, but what a role model is, and what a great athlete he is. And I tell you what, the Ford family is great to have him in that position at this point in time in his young leadership role.
Hey, Mike, take us back 30 years ago, and I know Ryan touched on it earlier. It was against the Rams. Injury happened down inside the 10-yard line there. What happened exactly there? We know you went up for a block. The guy came down, and he came down on your head. What went through your mind and your body?
You know, at that particular moment when Eric Kramer came up and called the play, I heard, you know, the guy went to, you know, Rocker went to block the pass and went to take his legs out. I have done this a million times. I just got caught. He caught my shoulder pads and pulled me down, and I hit the top of my head and broke C567. But what the difference was this time is I lost strength. And I've never lost strength as an athlete before. Even when I broke my leg, I tried to get up and walk 3 times. I broke my rib, separated my shoulder, and separated my hip my second year. I came back from those things. But this time, when I rolled on my back, I knew I was in serious trouble because I had burning down my legs, but I just couldn't move. And then Ken Fowles came out and they loaded me up in the stretcher and they were wheeling me off. But 2 things I remember specifically about that. The fellows coming up and said, "Hey, Mike, we're going to get this one for you. Hang in there, brother, hang in there." But then the crowd. I remember the fans of Detroit made an impression on me that I will never forget. And that's when I wanted, the only thing I could do was raise my right hand to let them know I heard them and I would be back. And God, thankfully, I'm able to still be alive and be able to at least pay back to Detroit what they have given me so much on that one particular day.
You know, Mike, as you talk about being wheeled off there and the simple gesture of the thumbs up, it's almost a silly question to say, could you have ever imagined that simple gesture of a thumbs up taking on a life of its own? You know, and now we see, even today, players who are injured, who may even be on a stretcher as a precaution, they are giving the thumbs up as they're wheeled off the field to kind of signify to everybody that, hey, it's okay, I'm okay. The foundation that was created, finding a cure for paralysis, the money you've generated, in that phrase, thumbs up means so much to so many people. Could you have ever imagined that simple gesture taking on a life of its own?
I have never had an idea that would be that far what it is today. But gentlemen, thank God I didn't give the bird when I was wheeled off that field. Just think of
We wouldn't have doubted it though, Mike.
Yeah. It would have been $1 in my pocket. But the biggest thing is I wanted people to hear, that I heard them. I wanted to make sure that they made a difference. Even today, those folks, they have no idea what that meant to me, the crowd, and for them to do that, I wanted to give back. And God willing, I'm able to, even today, do something for the people, the fans of Detroit, the fans or the folks that live in Detroit. I wanted to make sure that I pay back because they have given me so much. As much as that silly as that sounds, they have given me so much.
Hey, Mike, this isn't a question. This is just a statement. I know you're not the type. I'm just listening to you. I know you're not the type that, has that attitude because you want people to, feel bad for you or whatever. Like, the way in which you are, the way in which you go about life, the way in which you talk, you can just hear greatness in you. And it's great to watch. It's great to hear because I think a lot of times people take for granted just like simple things in life. They I can't say the B word, but they complain. They talk about how hard things are and how I'm this and how I got to do this. And man, the hell with that. Like, get up and keep moving. Keep going forward. Keep going in life. Do what you have to do. Get out there. Be active. Life is great. And I'm just listening from you, man. So for myself and here at Woodward Sports Network, I'm speaking for these guys. My bad. Man, we love you and we appreciate the example that you set. Because, looking and talking to you, it's great, man.
Amen.
It's a great thing.
Thanks, gentlemen. That means a lot, from a player. And if it was easy for us to be there, thank God everyone else would be there. And I even tell, Loma's Big Daddy Brown, I just tell him, I said, at one time in my life, I was one of the best 3, men in the world. There was only 28 right guards, and I was one of them for 3 years. And it's part of the game, when they started the game of football, it's time to give back a little bit. And I just want to make sure that Mr. Ford and, the whole Ford family that I will continue to pay it forward for what the opportunities they have given me.
Last thing, Mike, you got a Super Bowl prediction this year? Who's going to win a Super Bowl this year?
I can tell you who's not going to win a Super Bowl.
MikeUtley.org is the website. Thanks so much, Mike. Man. We love you here. We'll always love you here in Detroit. You got a home here any day of the year, my friend.
Buddy.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You got it. The great Mike Utley, everybody. 30 years ago today, that infamous game, that moment, David Rocker, the LA Rams. And we focus so much on that as sports fans. Yeah. It's just so refreshing to hear, Mike, it almost seems like he's,
normal.
He's
regular.
Way past that. You know what I mean?
But there ain't many guys like this.
No.
Yeah.
There's guys that would quit. He's special.
Without question.
Damn, that was powerful.
Yeah, so much.
That was powerful.
Guys, great stuff. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll regroup here and more on a Wednesday, Woodward Sports Network.
Who's got the tissues? Ermanni and Edwards, bottom line.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
And a miraculous catch.
Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
Hey guys, I want to let you know about Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac on Michigan Avenue in Dearborn. You want to buy a car, they have one for you. Inventory starting to come back, and they can get you anything you want, any make, any model on their pre-owned lot filled with cars. Hey, you might not be in the market to buy a car, but are you in the market to sell a car? Les Stanford wants to give you thousands for your car. That's right. Why not? Maybe you got somebody working from home and you can get through the next couple of months with one car in the family or less cars in the family. Go on in. Walk in today. Sell your car to them. You'll walk out with thousands. It doesn't matter whether you own the car or lease the car either, because Les Stanford is your authorized lease return center. Just give them a call today. 313-565-6000, 313-565-6000, or check them out, lesstanford.com, lesstanford.com. Les Stanford Chevrolet, find new roads. Great stuff there with Mike Utley.
Sir.
Can't thank him enough. Want to continue on with the NFL chatter, if we could. Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey. This is a bit of a surprise, I believe, and maybe it shouldn't be, but Le'Veon Bell was released yesterday by the Baltimore Ravens. So thin at running back. And this guy, Le'Veon Bell, one of the greatest running backs in probably a 5-year period in the NFL, 3, 4, 5-year period.
That's a good call.
Can't even. It's so hard to last at running back. That's why these guys got to get paid.
And
man.
He's built, man. You see a couple weeks ago, you saw a picture of him. The guy, it looks like an Adonis.
He put it out on Twitter. Let me read it for you. I'm sorry, Alex, if you could put that back up. This hurts, but it's been a blessing to be here, to say the least. I've enjoyed every second of this short period and got a whole new meaning of what this city is like. It's a great place to be. I appreciate Eric Descata and John Harbaugh for the opportunity to be called a Raven. Man, oh man, how far running backs can fall, how short their careers are. That is why it's so unique to have Adrian Peterson, Emmitt Smith. You know, I mean, you got to go back to them. But I mean, God, look at Mark Ingram. I mean, he's still in the league.
He just became the all-time leading rusher for the New Orleans Saints franchise.
Very few of those guys. More guys like Le'Veon than not, man. Todd Gurley not even in the league. You know, you go back to Todd Gurley, Le'Veon Bell, some of the best running backs over a period of time in the NFL, not even in the league anymore.
Yeah, and it's interesting. It's actually good to hear Le'Veon actually have that sentiment and have that conversation and have that tweet that he did once he got cut. You know, a lot of people were very upset with Le'Veon Bell when everything was going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers, how that thing went down, said a lot of things about him in terms of his character and who he was. You know, and you see an instance like this where, 4 years later, removed from the situation with the Steelers, he gets cut mid-season. Obviously, he wants to be on that team. He wants to go to the playoff. He wants a chance to fight, to get another Super Bowl ring. He was on that Kansas City Chiefs team. But just listen to the message. It was like, hey, I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate the Baltimore Ravens franchise. I appreciate the opportunity that John Harbaugh gave me. I wish them nothing but the best moving forward. It says a lot about Le'Veon Bell. I can't call him a young man. He's not a young man anymore, but it says a lot about him. And I hope you get an opportunity moving forward. You
got anything on that, Maz?
Hey, he was a terrific running back. When he sat out, I don't know what it did to him, but nobody could stop and start like Le'Veon Bell. When I watch a runner and I see him try to stop and go, nobody could do it like Le'Veon Bell could do it. I mean, that guy, I don't know what it was about him, but he was a horse, man. And I wish I could have seen him just continue on, because he could have been a great one.
So obviously he did what a lot of players do, is when they feel as though they've exceeded their contract, they feel like their worth is a little bit more than what they're being paid. He chose to sit out. He wanted to get paid. It got very ugly in Pittsburgh. They did not pay him. He sat out that whole year. He didn't come back to Pittsburgh. He ended up going to New York. And this is how fast you can fall.
For less money.
This is how fast you fall. He was the best running back in the league. Didn't get paid, sat out that year. Then he goes to the Jets. Jets franchise was terrible.
Yep.
Like the Jets, they were awful.
They've always been terrible.
Was Gase there, or was it before?
I forget.
No, it was Bowles, I think. Was it Bowles or whatever? They were horrible. They were bad. They had a bad offensive line. He didn't have the same type of success that he had.
Yeah.
So then people call him washed. They say, oh, see, this is why he didn't deserve the money. Then he bounced back around for a few teams. From here to here in a blink of an eye.
Unreal.
It's days like this where Le'Veon Bell's released by a team that has no running backs.
Detroit Lions, baby.
That makes me go, the more information you have about something, the better informed your opinion can be about it. When Le'Veon Bell sat out, chose to sit out with the Pittsburgh Steelers, what are you doing, Le'Veon Bell? You're so greedy. Play out your contract. You signed your contract, man. Go out and play that out. No, he was right.
He's 100% right.
He was 100% right. And I get it now with all of these running backs. Their shelf life in the NFL is so short. They have to. Now, it didn't work out in Le'Veon Bell's case, but it worked out in Ezekiel Elliott's case. You know, he sat out.
He got lucky.
And he did. It didn't work out for Le'Veon, but I absolutely 1,000% agree with Le'Veon Bell now. I changed my mind on that situation because of stuff like this. You got to get your money when you're hot.
The thing that pisses me off about the Le'Veon Bell situation, and there's some other ones, is what happened with Le'Veon, same thing happened to Antonio Brown, is Le'Veon held out. Le'Veon wanted his worth. Okay, and who was one of the main people talking to the media saying that if you care about the team, you would be here?
The guy that already had money.
Who was the main guy saying, you know what, I mean, you know, I will come in, I will be here, I think guys should be here.
Their Super Bowl quarterback.
Who was the guy that just got paid? See, the difference is Roethlisberger and quarterbacks, period, especially certain type of quarterbacks, so I don't want to go there, they don't have to ask to be paid. They get paid. They get broke off. So they don't have to put themselves in a situation where they have to hold out, where they have to be a distraction, because they're going to get their work. Same thing happened with Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. You go down the list. I got a great story about Brett Favre. Remember the wide receiver, Javon Walker?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Javon Walker, right?
Notre Dame guy?
He was not Notre Dame.
Okay.
Yeah. Javon Walker was balling for a 3-year period with the Green Bay Packers. Brett Favre got paid, I want to say, in the summer that I'm about to talk about. He got paid. Javon Walker had ball 3 years in a row, 1,300, 1,400, 1,300, 12 touchdowns, etc. So now he's trying to get money. He's trying to get paid. He's like, well, it's my time to get paid. So now he's sitting out. He's not coming into training camp. Brett Favre said everything. Oh, guys are selfish. And this is to the media. This is talking about your teammate. Guys are selfish. Guys don't want to come in. Like, I would never do that. Brett, you just got paid another $1 billion. The guys won't come in. He made Javon Walker feel bad. He made Javon, who's a really good guy. He's a friend of mine.
Didn't he come back and get hurt?
Guess where he got hurt? Ford Field. He tore his ACL the first game of the season. Yeah. He came back because Brett made him feel like SHIT in front of the media. So he came back and said, you know what, I'm not a selfish guy. We'll figure it out when we figure it out. First game of the season, he tears his ACL. Quarterbacks do that to wide receivers. They do that to running backs. They do that to defensive backs. Like, you should let your people get paid. It's getting better.
I have changed my opinion on how I think about professional athletes who hold out,
especially NFL.
If you earn it
in any sport. No, not even if you earn it. Almost,
you gotta earn it. Though.
Well, most people who hold out have earned it. Otherwise, you know what? Your agent isn't a dummy, right? Most agents are not dummies. The agent will look at you and be like, get your ass in camp.
True.
You know what I mean?
Very true.
Get on the. What are you doing? Get on the field.
You saw what Jerry Maguire did to Rod Tidwell.
Right.
Get on that field, man.
Exactly. Yeah. But I have completely changed the way I view players trying to get money. And we as a public, we as fans, we always harp on the player.
Yeah.
We don't harp on the owner.
The owners suck.
Because we don't see the contracts every year. You know what I mean? I think one of it is because we know exactly how much the player is making every year.
Yeah.
Every year we know how much the owner. We don't see. Martha Ford made $1 billion this year. You don't see that every year. You know, nobody tells you. Well, either way, you get what I'm trying to say. I
want my guys to get paid.
I want to ask 100%. You guys, and Braylon could probably speak to this better than anybody, but when a narrative is set on a player, regardless if it's true or not true, it just is.
It's over.
We'll do that. One regarding Odell Beckham.
I can't wait to do that one.
Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line. I'm excited.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Hey, everybody, it's Maz for the Foaling Warehouse in Hamtramck. Go see the best hosts in town, Chris and Noni Hutt. Tell them that Maz sent you down there. What's foaling? It's bowling with a football. You throw a football at the 10 bowling pins, try to make the best score, and it's not easy. There's an art to it. You got to check it out. Not only that, you can host your corporate party, a team building event. Just come in for fun as well. 2 ways to play. $10 unlimited play. That is open. Stay the whole time that the joint is open, or a private lane reservation, $120 for 10 people. You get 2 hours. They have over 100 beers and that special $2 mystery beer machine. Not only that, you could bring in your own food. They have an open bar as well. Not open, you got to pay for it, but it's a full bar. Right. Bring in all the food you want, have it delivered. Just do whatever you want at the Foaling Warehouse. But be nice about it. Come get your foal on. Check it out at foalingwarehouse.com.
Hey, man, I got a good question for you. If you get all 10 pins down on the throw, is that a touchdown or a strike?
It's a strike.
It's a strike.
It's a strike.
All right, there we go.
But you got your friend has got to reset the pins for you if you do that.
I like it.
There you go.
Understood.
Hey guys, I wanted to get to this because we do it all the time. We make our minds up on a player.
Yep.
A player is what it is. He is what he is, no matter what the actual truth about it is. Sorry, I said is so much. Here's the example. Odell Beckham Jr. I want to put the quote up from Troy Aikman here. So Troy Aikman had a statement on Dallas radio that said this: I think Matthew, talking about Matthew Stafford, now feels some of the pressure that maybe Baker Mayfield felt. Hey, we got to get this guy involved, or he's in the game right now because he's going to take this deep route, and I've got to find a way to get the ball in his hands because that's why he's playing on this play. Well, Mina Kimes from ESPN then quote tweeted that and said, Matthew Stafford threw the ball 41 times last night, targeted Odell Beckham 3 times. The Rams also just lost their number 2 receiver. The Odell discourse is so weird, man. And it is when you actually put the numbers up there, right? I mean, Odell Beckham not happy, got to force him the ball, got to look his way, throw him the ball. On 38 of 41 attempts passing the football on Monday night, Matthew Stafford threw it to somebody other than Odell Beckham. Why do we say this without facts backing up anything that I say we as the media, say?
Because you see Odell kick this. You see Odell kick the kicking net in 2015. You see Odell going off on Eli Manning in 2015, 2016. You see Odell Beckham wearing the watch in pregame with the Cleveland Browns in 2019. You hear his name and you hear prima donna, diva, loud, needs the ball, like aggressive yell. Like you get all that stuff. He did some things when he was 22, 23, 24. He's grown as a player. I didn't see him yelling at Baker Mayfield when he was in Cleveland. I saw a great conversation on the sideline with Matt Stafford.
I saw that too.
Like I saw a great conversation. I didn't see him asking for the ball or yelling or trying to figure out or looking discontent.
Didn't he say to him, I thought you were better than Baker Mayfield? Didn't he say that to him? wasn't that the meme?
Oh, my God.
That was the meme.
But you have this narrative of what he did or what he was, and you want to continue to make that who he is, and that's just not the case. Odell Beckham is just a guy trying to fit in. He's a guy that wants the ball. He's a guy that but understands the role that he's in now. He's going to let it take its time. He's just a chill guy that wants to play. He wants to play football. Like, we put these things on people, like, some people deserve it, some people don't. But once you put a tag on someone, it never leaves it. Look at T.O.
Yeah.
Like, they talked about T.O. wherever he went. It was like, oh, this guy T.O., he's a flashy guy. He's a diva. He's a prima donna. Everywhere he went, all his teammates loved him. He had success in Cincinnati. He actually even outplayed Chad Johnson in Cincinnati. Cincinnati had success. Buffalo had success. Dallas had success. 49ers had success. Eagles had success. Also beat up Hugh Douglas. But, like,
he earned it.
He definitely did earn it, though, because he was trying to. Yeah, but they say this about it, but they don't pay attention to the fact. The fact is, the guy ball. Same thing with Odell Beckham. Give him a chance. Give him an opportunity. Let things settle in. Odell's not running around yelling at the media and doing things. He's chilling.
Look, I think it's great for sports fans to have villains in professional sports. Like how many?
Make sure they're villains.
Well, for how many people? And I don't think you need an excuse to hate somebody from another team. That's my personal belief. But you can't really say that the guy is selfish or forcing quarterbacks to throw him the ball if he's not. You can hate him for no reason. I don't care about that. Do you know how many people hated Bill Laimbeer?
Everyone except Detroit.
Everyone except Detroit. Do you know how many people hated? We in Detroit hated Chris Chelios when he played for the Chicago Blackhawks. Couldn't imagine him playing for the Red Wings one day. I'll never forget when he got traded here. I was like, what? You can't. What do you mean, Chris Chelios? But we all have, I don't like LeBron James. I don't like Michael Jordan. Now, I learned to love Jordan because, you're so great, you appreciate. But growing up, hated Jordan, beating your team. It's great to have villains, but I didn't even know why I hated Jordan. I would have never hated Jordan and been like, well, he's such a selfish teammate. He's no good. You know what I mean? You just hate the guy because it's fun to hate in sports.
I got another
It's part of being a sports fan.
I got another one.
You need a villain.
Detroit Lion guy. Ndamukong Suh.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody hated Ndamukong Suh.
Everybody
with
hated
the exception
Ndamukong
of Detroit
Suh.
Lion. He's a dirty player.
We loved him.
Don't get me wrong. He definitely did some things that were a little bit dirty. But he hasn't done any of that in a long time. But that's still who people think he is. Ndamukong Suh. Oh, you talking about this Suh guy? Oh, he's a dirty player. Suh hasn't had a dirty or questionable call in 8 years.
Right.
But he's always going to be the guy that when he stepped on Aaron Rodgers' neck or back or wherever he did.
No, Eric Dietrich Smith.
One guy I always hated was AJ Pierzynski. He played for the White Sox.
Yeah, he was a little buster.
I think that's fun, but I didn't hate AJ Pierzynski for any particular reason.
A deserving reason.
Right. You know what I mean?
He had that kind of face.
Yeah,
and he played on the White Sox.
I hate your face.
Right? But I don't get the Odell Beckham hate. Maybe it's because you do one thing as a young player, whether it's kicking the net or the playoff situation, and that's just what you are, right or wrong, and no matter what. I hate LeBron James, but I don't hate... LeBron James never got in trouble. LeBron James never done anything. Never done anything. Why do I hate LeBron James? It's fun to hate good play. Hate Alabama. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially when you're dealing with the type of success that Odell was having with the Giants. Odell was arguably the best receiver in NFL. It was him, Antonio Brown, and Julio Jones. The things that he was doing, the success he was having. But see, the problem is fans, they don't like it when people are good and know they're good.
Tom Brady.
They don't like it when people are good and know they're good, having fun with it, dancing, doing all the extra stuff, conversations. They're always on the tube. They're waiting for those mighty kings to fall. And boy, when they fall, they love to rub it in. That's what it is.
Most people hate Tom Brady outside of the state of Michigan and New England. Right now in Tampa, sure.
Imagine if Barry Sanders would have celebrated. Imagine if Barry Sanders would have celebrated like Odell did. Obviously, this is back in the early 90s, so it wouldn't have been the same level. But imagine if Barry was a celebrator. He got in the end zone and would do some dances and things like that. People would have hated Barry because he was the best running back in the league, and now he's going to have the audacity to rub it in our faces. People hate when great people rub it in your face.
I disagree with you slightly on that point because I'll see your Barry Sanders and
people hate Aaron Rodgers
and raise you, but I'll raise you Deion Sanders. At least as a kid in the early 90s, we all us white kids, throwing on our do-rags and pulling up our socks.
How about this?
I'll never forget I had a
you
do-rag
did as
coming
a
out
kid,
of my...
but your parents didn't like him, though.
I don't know about that. We never talked about that.
The parents didn't like prime time. The kids did.
Well, I'll
the
never
parents
forget.
don't.
I had a do-rag coming out of my helmet once, and my coach said, take that thing off. Who do you think you are, Deion Sanders? I was I'm trying to be.
There's your answer right there. Fans do not want great players to show they're great and have fun being great. That's what they don't want. They just want you to go out there and be great. Right. That's what it is.
Guys, that's a fun segment. I like that. Hey, Michigan basketball played a game last night. I want to get your take on that. Also, Corey Woods has a video coming from Lions practice out there today. All the latest happenings, plus Jared Goff spoke as well about his questionable status. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. With mortgage interest rates unbelievably low, the stakes to find your new home have never been higher. And that's why Hall Financial's exclusive realtor network allows us to connect you with a top-rated realtor in your area, making sure you take on the housing market and win. Hall Financial has earned over 4,000 five-star reviews because of our technology and our commitment to closing your loan fast. 866-CALL-HALL or chat with us online at callhallfirst.com.
It took exploring 50 different formulas. You know what? I'm not even going to read it this time. All you need to know is that Gypsy Vodka is infused with artisanal spring water.
Get out of here.
Look at the bottle. Look how dope the bottle looks. Look at the art design. Look at the prisms. Look at the glass. This is amazing. Adam and Mike took their sweet time perfecting this, countless taste tests to make sure that they had the best product out. And not only is it infused with artisanal spring water, it also is gluten-free and corn distilled 6 times on top of being artisanal spring water. Man, you can't tell me that sounds like something you wouldn't want to try. Go to your local stores, ask about it. Gypsy Vodka.
During Sunday's game versus the Steelers, Lions quarterback Jared Goff was noticeably dealing with a rib injury, and it affected his play throughout the game. Now, moments ago, Goff did speak to the media, where he talked about his injury and his status for this week's game.
It's more functionality. The pain is whatever. I can mask that. It's being able to function fully. We'll see. Like I said, if I feel like I am not able to perform my job, then I shouldn't be out there. Until then, I'm going to fight and scratch and claw to be out there because I believe in myself that way. It's hard for me to say, hey, I can't go, when I'm going to try to fight through it. But I also have to be honest with myself, and by Friday or Saturday, whenever that comes around, and be able to, make that decision.
There you heard it from Goff. It remains to be seen if he'll be able to suit up this Sunday versus the Browns. If he does not, expect Tim Boyle to get the start at quarterback. This is Corey Woods with the Woodward Sports Network with your Detroit Lions update.
So there you have it. Give Corey a follow on Twitter. Corey Woods, our Woodward Sports beat reporter out there, bringing you the latest from Lions headquarters out there in Allen Park.
It's interesting listening to 2 different sound bites. So when I was watching Jared Goff talking about the potential of playing, he wanted to make sure that he was healthy, and if he wasn't healthy and if he wasn't able to play, he wanted to make sure he protects the team. You want to make sure you go out there and make the right decision. And then also I'm thinking about what Baker Mayfield said 3 weeks ago. Baker said, it's my decision. I'm playing. I'm playing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Now, I'm not trying to in any way, maybe I am, I'm not trying to say, Jared should sound like that. It should be like that. But you can just tell that this has been a long season. It has been a long season mentally. It has been a long season physically. And this isn't me talking negatively about him at all, because it has been. We've been hard on him. The media's been hard on him. He's been hard on himself. He's been hard to watch at times. You can just tell that guy needs a break. Mentally and physically, he's tapped.
The difference is Baker's playing for a team that has a chance.
Yeah.
Lions, let's cut your losses.
True, but I've been on some, man, people have also been on bad teams, but still you feel it. Like they want to go out there and they want to go. They want to push the needle to make sure they can play. Or if they're 65%, that's over 50%. But on the other side, it goes back to what I'm saying. You could just tell he's tapped. Like he's mentally and physically beat and tired.
How could he not be? First you get traded from LA.
Yeah.
You go from a playoff team to the last place team in the league.
Yeah.
Moves from Los Angeles to Detroit, although I'm sure he thought Birmingham was a lot nicer than he thought it was going to be, and moving forward. But it's a big life change for him.
His trip.
Nice, big life change for him, and he's playing on a dud.
I hope he takes a break.
One of the problems, too, for a guy like Jared Goff, there are very few veterans on this team that you can probably relate to. This is such a young team. And also, he's one of the few Lions that have already been paid, right? He's making north of $20 million. There's not a lot of Lions making a lot of money on a team this year. So it's one thing to be a young player, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 years old even, not being paid, still trying to get that first contract, and you're losing. It doesn't matter, dude. You're in the NFL. You're playing for your family. You're playing for your dreams to come true, to get that next contract. When you've already gotten that big payday. Do you know how hard this must be to sit through an 0-8-1
here's another
season?
Here's another thought process. There's nobody on that team, with the exception of Brockers. There's nobody on that team that understands winning.
Yes.
Like that has had success at the highest level. So for them, I mean, obviously 0-8-1 is terrible, but they're used to losing. Or they don't know what winning is yet. They haven't experienced, or they've been on the line. They don't know what it looks like. So for them, it's normal. Meanwhile, Jared Goff's like, I've been in the Super Bowl. I've been in the playoffs every year. This is killing me. This is depressing. I remember my second year in Cleveland when Willie McGinnis came from the Patriots. Willie McGinnis had won 3 Super Bowls. Willie McGinnis was used to winning. He was used to the Patriot way. That's what he knew. We had a terrible season in 2006, and we were just going through the motions because this is my second year. By then, I was used to it. You're used to it. And Willie was like, man, what the hell is this? Like, you guys are okay with this? This is normal? This is what we do here? Like, Willie was going insane because he's not used to that, because he has something to compare it to, and it's called success at the highest point. And then you come to Cleveland. Like, everybody on Cleveland's team, they were like, oh, well, it's kind of what happens here. Like, we're used to it. Like, it's okay.
That's great.
And Jared Goff's like, I'm used to winning. This sucks, my mental, but I don't have anybody to talk to about it. I can't share these stories. He's got to call people back in L.A.
That's an excellent point.
No.
And I'll refer back to a guest we had on a few weeks ago. Happens to be your brother-in-law, Marcus Pollard. What's one of the things that he said to us? You know, going from playing with Peyton Manning in the Indianapolis Colts to coming to playing for the Detroit Lions. And he said the meetings were even different. You know, because so many times, what does culture mean? What does that winning culture look like? I don't know what does that even look like? What does that mean? Is that just a fancy term that we use in sports all the time? And Marcus was like, no,
it's a real thing.
It is a palpable thing. Even in the meeting rooms, the way we meet was different. It wasn't as tight and as concise and as forward as what we did in Indianapolis, as purposeful as what we did in Indianapolis when Peyton Manning's running, a meeting or talking to you about what you're doing on this next play. That's not what happened here. So that's a great point, Braylon, that I never even thought of. Who does Jared Goff speak to besides Michael Brockers? What person on the Detroit Lions roster has ever experienced winning
in the
NFL?
And Brockers was the one that killed them before he came over to the Lions. Remember, he said, we got Matt Stafford. There's an upgrade. Oh, by the way, you've been traded to the Lions.
Right.
Oh, sorry. Remember that?
So he's not talking to him.
Right, he's talking to him.
He's not talking to
Maybe
him.
He's talking to Josh Reynolds.
There you go.
I know it's so hard for the average person, somebody with a regular job, to be, well, what do you mean? How hard is it to go to work? You're making millions of dollars or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to show. That's their reality.
Yeah.
Like, our reality is our reality. Their reality is their reality, and that's the world that they live in, and we live in our world. It's just two different things, right? I mean,
you can have a good day and a bad day when you make $30 an hour. You can have a good day and a bad day when you make $30,000 an hour. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
You are still human. Everybody goes through the same things, just on different levels. But you can experience, bad situations. You can experience situations that weigh on your mental. They weigh heavy on you. It doesn't matter how much money you're making.
Right.
Like, he's making good money and everything is great and all
It helps, though.
Money definitely helps, but that mental, you can't pay for a mental.
Yeah, and everything's relative. I mean, it's how many rich people do you know that are miserable?
Most.
You know what I mean? Most. And it's hard to comprehend.
I'd like to try it out, though.
Yeah, it's hard to comprehend, but a lot of rich people who are miserable. Guys, we'll do bottom line videos of the day. Hell of a day today. Having a lot of fun. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network. The bottom line: more money, more fun.
I want to be that miserable.
Don't we all?
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Hey guys, I want to tell you about Guardian Alarm. They've been your local security experts for over 90 years. Let me tell you something. You throw that black and yellow sign out in front of your house, you know what that tells people? Stay out. Just get out. Don't even stay out of here. You better stay out. Well,
tell them you're a Pittsburgh fan.
That's right. Guardian Alarm has state-of-the-art technology that helps you feel safe. You could be the championship defender of your home. 24/7 local monitoring. Guardian Alarm has all the convenient features that you need. Check in on your home, control your lights, your temperatures, detect smoke, carbon monoxide, even going to let you lock and unlock your doors. The number to call is a simple one. Please, fellas, listen to me. Ready? 1-800.
Stay out!
That number again, 1-800.
Stay out!
Get out of here!
Stay out of my house!
Please!
Make it awesome!
Don't even think about
Get away!
it. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. Man.
I got breaking news, folks.
Uh-oh.
Chris Solari, who covers Michigan State, for the Free Press. The Spartans working on a historic 10-year, $95 million extension for Mel Tucker.
There you go.
$95 million. That's more than Nick Saban.
And you know what?
But
look, if you look at it between Dan Gilbert and Matt Ishbia, you have billionaires that they could wipe. We talk about people with money. Those people could wipe their butts with that kind of money.
Yeah.
They don't care about that. You give him whatever you want if you believe in him.
He's definitely at Michigan State at the right time. It's a very popular time to be at Michigan State. Michigan State has a lot of their famous alumni that are in the media, in the know, doing big things with a lot of coin, a lot of bucks. The interesting thing is, every time a coach goes up in money, you know who gets a chance to go right back to the apple is Nick Saban. It's in Nick Saban's contract. Right. As soon as somebody gets past him, Alabama has to pay him more.
What are they going to do, buy him another mansion? They've already bought his house for him.
We can talk about this at length tomorrow. I just don't think this is something you need to do. I just don't think it's something you need to do if you're Michigan State. The guy really hasn't done...
I disagree.
He beat Michigan twice. Okay, I mean, is that worth $10 million a year?
It is to them.
Here's why I say I disagree, and I think it is when D'Antonio was balling, when he was doing his thing, when they were going to the Rose Bowls, when they were having success in that run from maybe like 2011 to about 2016 or 15, when they were having that big success on the national scale, they still didn't talk about Michigan State. Michigan State still wasn't a national brand, and this is no disrespect, this is no slight to Michigan State. They still weren't a national brand. Even when they were playing on a national scale, they weren't a national brand. Now, you know about Michigan State. Joe Klett can't stop talking about Michigan State. They talk about them on Big Noon Kickoff. They talk about them all over the country. They're talking about Tuck coming. They're talking about Michigan State. They're talking about Kenneth Walker III. 4 Heisman. I guarantee you, this is the most popular Michigan State football has ever been. Maybe ever been in terms of the national spotlight. Pay that man his money if you want to keep that going.
Do you guys think that Michigan State is a football school or a basketball school right now? Not what they're heading towards, but right now. Are they a football school or a basketball school?
Even. I would say basketball to even.
Okay.
Again, this is Mel Tucker's first year, really. You know what I mean? And I don't know whether it's right or wrong to throw last year out. I throw last year out other than the win against Michigan. But, I mean, he came in
Northwestern?
Huh?
Maybe Northwestern as well.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's really early to give a guy 10 years. Before you even play Ohio State. I mean, I'm just saying.
Nothing's official.
Nothing's official, but I just think, and it's not my money, so I really don't even care.
There are a ton of people that get paid without having a huge body of work.
Michigan State has money to compete with any university in the country. That's what the reality is. Nobody can mess with Michigan State.
And they have the facilities.
Let's say Michigan State is not inferior to any school in the country when it comes to competing with money anymore, right?
Right.
Because of the billionaires that they have.
Yeah.
But I just think, Kenneth Walker, look, he's a Heisman candidate. He's a transfer. Those guys don't fall off trees.
But he knows how to work the transfer portal. That's what everyone is giving him credit for, which means, yes, he got Kenneth Walker, and that was a diamond in the rough. But guess what? His skill in being able to work the transfer portal, he's going to find some more diamonds.
He's done that once.
He might as well have recruited.
It may not be a diamond. Yeah, it may not be a diamond, but he'll find a ruby. He'll find an emerald.
I'm just saying, is that worth the highest paid coach in college football? Is that
people have gotten paid for doing less?
Who's gotten paid in after 8 games courtside. Essentially? After what are they? 8-9-1.
What was Harbaugh's college record?
Aquamarine.
But Harbaugh's coming off he had a little bit of a track record too. He coming off a Super Bowl. You know, there was a lot different. There was a different kind of.
Okay, what does Scott Frost do?
How much does money Scott Frost make? $4 million a year?
It's 5.
Okay, that's double. Double.
But you're talking 5 years ago and add inflation.
I'm just saying, I mean, I don't think you have to do this now. You can wait and do it next year.
5 years ago, if Scott Frost, in his second year, would have taken Nebraska to be 9-1 and had beaten Michigan.
But he hasn't been the coach there for 5 years, has he?
4, yeah. Scott Frost has been there for this is his 4th year.
Not everyone sticks around for 7+ years.
Yeah. I don't know.
Not everybody's given an opportunity.
Exactly.
Yeah. Look, God bless them. And it ain't my money, so I really don't even care. I just think it's unnecessary to pay a guy after 10 games.
Okay. Same attitude when LSU throws him that
LSU ain't paying him.
I'm hypothetical. That's what we've been doing for the last 2 weeks now, hypothetical. When LSU throws, 10 for 100, or USC throws 10 for 100, and he up and leaves.
They will.
Let's act like Michigan State didn't do this, and they throw that, and he up and left because Michigan State didn't do that. You want to protect what you have now. Where do you go if Tuck leaves?
I think they're competing against themselves. I don't think he'll be hired at USC or LSU.
I think you're wrong.
But why?
And that's fair.
Now he won't be hired. I think he's staying.
But
I think they were looking at him.
But why risk it?
You're right. That's great.
Everybody in here has insurance. We don't need it most of the time, but you have it.
Right.
It's an insurance policy.
God bless him. Like I said,
he's here. Stop coming.
You wouldn't know it. He doesn't talk loud.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Hey, they had him on national TV last night.
They did. College football.
That's great. I wouldn't pay a guy. Personally, I wouldn't pay a guy $10 million a year after 9 games. I wouldn't do it.
Okay.
Your program has never been more popular.
What were you paying Jim Harbaugh when he first started?
7.3.
I think yes.
That's the equal to this.
6.8 and went to 7.
That's the equal to this. You paid him for doing nothing.
You paid him.
You paid him for his resume.
He was a Super Bowl. He went to the Super Bowl as a head coach of the National
Football League. And we all thought
League,
we'd already have 2 national championships.
They got it wrong.
They got
it wrong.
Okay.
And what did that contract get Michigan?
Got him nothing.
Got him a heartache. So what I'm saying is, how do you know? Are you confident that after 10 games,
I've asked you this before. Would you take Mel Tucker as your head coach right now?
Yes.
That's enough.
Huh.
Yes.
That's enough.
How do you not?
Yes, I would. I love Mel Tucker.
You said, but not at that price.
No, I'm just saying, like I wouldn't pay a guy $10 million who's never done anything as a head coach.
Stephen Ross has that money too. So
Name me something that he's ever done as a head coach. Anybody, anywhere.
Go Buffs.
He had a winning record in Buffalo. There you go.
So did Gary Barnett.
Oh, you took it back with that one.
I mean,
Gary Barta.
The 90s.
I'm just saying, he's coached 10 games at Michigan State.
Listen,
I throw last year out.
Just chill.
I'm just saying.
At the end
what do you want me to do? It's my opinion.
At the end of the day, Michigan State has been in a bad spot towards the end of Mark D'Antonio. Mark's end of his run. D'Antonio, the end of his run, trying to find a replacement, trying to figure out what they're going to do. Even when Tuck first came there, it wasn't a match made in heaven. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't a match made in heaven. Now, you are back in the spotlight. You guys are 9-1. You're on the verge of, you're on almost the eve of playing Ohio State to bump yourself up in the college football playoffs, to give yourself an opportunity to go to Indianapolis, to give yourself an opportunity to go to the playoffs for the second time. He knows how to work the transfer portal. He's initiated himself in there. He's ingratiated himself. The fan base loves him now. Keyword now.
Yeah.
Fan base loves him. They support him. He loves the fan base. He loves the state of Michigan. He has bought in to what the Spartans are, to what the Spartans are going to do. He hates he hates Michigan. So he is exactly where he's supposed to be. I want to say that. Like, I want to procure that. Like, hey, you know what? Here, this is what do you need?
Look, I don't know what to say.
It's not even your money.
It's not my money. I don't care. From a pure business standpoint,
Right.
I would not make him the highest paid coach in college football based on a 10-game sample size when you haven't even played Ohio State yet. I would not do that.
All right.
That's where I'm going to leave it.
Okay, good. I got one video for you.
One.
Yeah, one. It's happening tonight, finally. It's Hard Knocks. Indianapolis Colts on HBO Max. Check it out.
Let's go. It's on us. We're going to step forward. We're going to fold. Right here, right now, let's go.
Colts lead by 6. The Jaguars need a touchdown. Lawrence out of the gun. Lawrence takes off.
Can't wait
I
for
like
this.
those uniforms,
Yeah.
man. Those turquoise pants and the white.
Look out for Indianapolis
I
in the AFC, right?
Still?
They didn't look good last week.
No, they didn't. You're
I mean,
right.
they just still.
That's what we do.
Like Wentz looked like
Carson
the
Wentz.
Wentz.
I
He
mean,
looked like the Wentz I knew.
Seriously, dude.
From whence
He'll
he
play
came.
just well enough to lose you a big game.
10 o'clock tonight, HBO Max. Hey, is there a better helmet than the horseshoe? I don't think so.
There's a ton of
I
them.
love the horseshoe. Always
I would
did.
take the Lions.
So
over them.
clean. Those uniforms, so clean.
So boring.
Ohio State
Never
Stadium?
changed. Never changed.
So boring.
Very good.
I dug them. I still dig 'em.
Hey, Maz, good effort out of you today, Fish.
Thank you.
Hey, good effort out of you, man.
Oh, man.
Way to come with it today. Way to come with it.
Brought some heat.
Tuck coming.
Ooh,
way to
we
come
are.
Way
Get out of here,
Way to
Tuck.
come with it.
Go tuck your tail between your legs already,
way
all right?
Way to come with it.
Hot take, hot
I
take.
got 2 words for you.
What?
Tuck staying.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
I love Mel Tucker. I got nothing against him.
There you do. Yes, you do.
Braylon,
Hey, you know what?
get me out of here.
I was watching an interview today, and I saw that Rich Paul is an agent, a super agent.
He's dating Adele.
He's LeBron's best friend.
He's dating Adele.
Yes.
Would you let me finish the story? Y'all
Damn
will
it.
get there.
LeBron's dating Adele?
Yes.
Shut up. Okay, shut up. Rich Paul, super agent, LeBron's best friend, one of his best friends.
Dating Adele.
He's a super agent. Started off in Cleveland. If you would have told him and his mother, 20 years ago, hey, you're going to be kicking it with Oprah. You will be dating the #1 entertainer in the musician field, female songstress in the world. You will represent some of the best clients, best basketball, most money, all this kind of stuff. If you would have told him that, they would have been like, nah, you're lying. The reason why I'm stumbling through my words right now is anything is always in front of you. Whatever you choose to do in life is right there. Just keep going. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Keep trying. Keep going. Keep pushing forward. Keep pushing forward because it'll be there. Because I guarantee you, I've known him a long time. I didn't see Adele in the future. I've known Rich Paul a long time. I didn't see Adele. I didn't see Oprah, and I didn't see what he's doing. But he's doing it at a high level. Keep working, keep grinding, keep moving forward. You can do whatever you want to do.
Ermanni and Edwards.
Bottom line.
Thumbs up.
Woodward Sports Network.
You're gonna get a win. Eventually. Tears, please. A little quicker next time, thank you.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh, you didn't even open them?
I do what
Oh my god. Okay. Can I get a tight, please?
Go on in. She wants to type.
Can I get a tight, please? Don't do it for us. The media. What do we know? Do it for yourselves. Do it for Detroit. Go out and get yourselves a win. Just not week 11 against the Browns. Thank you.